Right, guys, so Dele Farotimi was asked a question about P2B's one-time proposal and also asked him about Bele Jonathan's interest to run in the next election. And here was wonderful things he has to say. But watch the video to the end and let me get your thoughts and views in the comment section.
Let's start off with our political landscape because it's so much. There's talk about former President Goodluck Jonathan coming. In fact, some general overseer in the papers, this I think was the National Enquirer, that said that he's predicting that Goodluck Ebele Jonathan will be back in Aso Rock. What do you make of that? Should he enter this? Many people have said he should stay out of it. Some people are saying he might be the person that they need to be able to cleanse power from the APC. What do you think? Should he stay out of this?
1,000 Goodluck Ebele Jonathan cannot solve the problems of Nigeria. They might very well go ahead and increase his brain power by a factor of 1,000 for good measure. If we do not address our structural problems and if we are incapable of telling ourselves the basic truths that we hold to ourselves, then nothing is going to change. They can recycle all these people as many times as they care. This was the same Goodluck Ebele Jonathan that was horribly vilified, labeled. The press went into overdrive in this country, the pulpits and the mosques everywhere. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's removal will solve the problems of Nigeria. And then here we are. We're going back into the past to dig up the past. That was how we dug up the one that just expired. I don't believe that our problems are going to be resolved because we change personnel. The problems we have in Nigeria goes beyond persons. If you removed Bola Ahmed Tinubu from office today, if you do not touch that evil system that produces the kind of people who have ruined this country and that has consistently assured that we've remained Lilliputians when we are giants, all this talk about Goodluck Ebele Jonathan is just more distraction from the political ruining crafts. We're not looking for saviors of Voltrons. It's about building systems, enduring systems, building a country. How do you rebrand the failure of 2015 into a saint and a savior in 2025? How? 10 years, we've gone full cycle, and we are back at a situation where we are saying that we were better off where we were in 2015. So maybe Buhari might as well have done all of us a favor. Maybe he shouldn't have waited 10 years, because I'm sorry. And this is not about me discounting his humanity, because we are now saying that we should go back 10 years. To do what? Exactly what? So I'm sorry, I'm not enthused with all this talk about persons. We should focus on the system. How do we ensure that we're able to produce people who care about Nigerians, people who would ensure that Nigerians are brought out of virtuous servitude in which we are all living miserably? We should talk about real issues.
Well, Mr. Farotimi, I don't want to lose that thought process. When you say our systems need a change, how is that supposed to happen? There are a few people who've been speaking up recently. Professor Patutomi recently said, you know, that it's our political elite that is the problem. They have to lead the charge when it comes to doing the right thing. Another activist had said, you know, that our political class have to commit class suicide for us to see any kind of change in our systems. What do you think is the way to fix a system that you've described as broken? How do you fix broken systems?
From as far back as when I've been in the public space and I've been asked questions related to the one you just asked, I've made it abundantly clear. You cannot depend on those who have ruined this country for a salvation, even though in the history of every part of the world, it has always taken members of the oppressive, ruining class to lift the people out of the mess. You talk about the political class. The unfortunate reality is that Nigeria is not possessed of a political class. Political suggests people who are resolved to meet the challenges of nationhood, of development by consensus. There are no consensuses amongst those you will call elites in Nigeria, because they are actually not elite. To be elite, you need to be thinking beyond your lifetime. To be political, you need to be building consensuses. You don't have a political class. We have a class that is completely focused on existential issues, how to steal, not about nation building. So if anything is going to change, it is the people who have to look in their mirrors for the savior of Nigeria. It's going to be that the victims of Nigeria found sufficient basis to coalesce around the ideas of change. If you're looking to the political class, history should tell you that you won't get anything positive out of them. Nothing positive. Is always about prebenda considerations. What is in need for them as a collective? Look at what we just talked about now. They want to bring good luck at Dele Jonathan because it is the safe option for them. It is not about what is in need for the people. If we're talking about change in 2027, what does it mean in education? What does it mean for security? What does it mean for agriculture? What does it mean in telecoms? What does it mean about the structure of the country? You have 37 states effectively if you take this judiciary position properly. You have 36 states, one federal territory, 774 local governments. They are sat in Abuja thinking of into this. Nobody is coming out to talk about how the cost of governance has assured that the people have been ignored. No developmental strides are being made. They are talking about good luck in Dele Jonathan. There were valid reasons 10 years ago to ask that it be removed. But people did not ask themselves, what does it mean to change this? So they focused on change and they were sold a dot. So now we're back here again. 10 years later, realization has hit that APC is only not for us. And we are thinking that it's all about changing names and then bringing somebody. I would be more interested in knowing exactly what it is that Mr. Goodluck might bring this time around that is different from what he was doing. That each and every one of the persons, largely in the media, almost every critical voice in this country, all of whom are falling silent today, called for his removal. So what has changed?
All right, let me take you up on something else in the news. I want you to get your thoughts on a one-term presidency. We've heard from different quarters, different corners of this country. And it was Mr. Peter Obi who said it. Look, I'm going to do just one term. He believes you can change Nigeria in one term. Someone said that's something you tell to a woman when you're with her in the house. Someone else said, I can sell you a bridge if you believe something like that. What are your thoughts on that one-term president? Is he realistic? Is he a realistic statement to make?
Well, let's be clear about this. I heard this one-term presidency thing from Peter Obi during the 2023 election cycle. That was the first time I heard him say this. So it's not as if he was saying something I hadn't heard before. But I think we need to be interrogating issues beyond declarations. A man says he's going to spend one time. Okay, one time to do what? I think we should actually be asking that question. If I have a vision that can be contained within my lifetime, then it's not a vision, it's just an ambition. If it's a vision, I will need my children's children to complete that task. So if a man says, I'm going to take only one time and I'm leaving, I am more interested in asking the question, what are your plans? What would you do with the one term? If I ever run for the presidency of Nigeria, I don't require more than 2 years to do everything that I need to do. And that's the extent of my own belief in the fact that you don't need a long time to achieve lasting change. But the question to be asked is, what does he intend to do with the one term? I think that's the question that we should be asking. I'm not focused on if the person is either the man is believable or is not believable. So I'm not focused on how long he has said he wishes to serve. I would be more interested in what do you intend to do with that time. That's what interests me, not the time. Obasanjo had 8 years. What did he do with it? Buhari had 8 years. What did he do with it? He ruined Nigeria. Tinubu has had 2 years. He's taking us back like 50 years. So it's not really about how much time the person spends. It's a function of what are they doing with the time that they have.
There's well, one thing that's going on right now, and I don't know if we have those visuals to put up right now. It's there's a protest going on, and I want to be able to get exactly how many, because there's so many of them. The Nigerian Union of Pensioners, representing various agencies, NITEL, MTEL, FRCN, FMW, Nigerian Railway Corporation, they are protesting unpaid entitlements up to 35 months pension arrears, non-payment of the 35,000 naira palliative and the 32,000 naira pension increment. So we have people who have worked for this country, and we saw it with the police not too long ago. We keep seeing these stories going on across the country. I want you to be able to speak to that, and maybe in your analysis, maybe you can talk to us about this situation we're seeing with the NYSC. This young lady had criticized President Bola Ahmed, had criticized President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And people feel like, well, she feels like she's being bullied. Many people are speaking up in support of her. We're even seeing former Vice President Atiku Abubakar speaking up about this situation. But NYSC has clarified that she missed a clearance. She missed a particular clearance in April, and she's not the only one. About over 100 of them that missed that particular clearance exercise, and that's the reason why, you know, their certificates have been withheld, and they've extended their time in service for 2 more months. What do you make of that situation?
Have you noticed that I have a grin?
Yes, I have.
Edged on my face.
Yes.
You see, Yorubas have this proverb. They say, "Tiya obati kari kito bon." Until suffering is democratized, it is rarely ever rejected. The ruiners of Nigeria have done a fantastic job of feathering their own nest by plucking the feathers of the Nigerian victims. Without anesthesia of any sort, they just keep plucking the feathers, and they've used it to feather their own nest. So if the Nigerian people are now universally groaning, for someone like me who is completely convinced that only a revolution will save Nigeria, I'm extremely happy. Because what they are doing is that they are helping me to recruit the foot soldiers for the revolution that must change this country. Now, let's deal with something. You're talking about pensioners. Go to Ekiti State. Some people have retired for over 15 years. They've received nothing. Not a dime. These ones are talking about 30-something months. Let me explain, my dear sister. What has happened to us is that we have been functionally enslaved by a system that is not designed to deliver any value to the people. It's meant to create value and deliver value, extract value from the people and deliver it to the rulers of Nigeria. So it is very easy for that system to ensure that our president has the latest yacht in town, his jet, even when it doesn't need replacement, gets replaced. He has assured that governors travel all over the world, spending monies in excess of what is spent on universal basic primary education. So it's not a system that works for the people. And the more the system illustrates how it has become alienated from the people, the happier somebody like me is, because it helps me to drive home the message I constantly try to get to the people, that regardless of whether you are Yoruba, Igbo, Fulani, Igbo, Ijo, whatever you get to be, the rulers of Nigeria don't care. You only exist to be extracted from. But when they get to that level, they don't care where you are from, because they are one. So if it takes this suffering to awaken the people to the reality of their situation, I'm happy. Because what you are describing, those are episodes. You're looking at a man with load askew on his head without paying attention to the crookedness of his legs. Those are merely episodes. It's all over the federation. Everybody is crying. It's just about who they give a mic and who is able to articulate his pain. Now, to come to the case of Rai, the system is always going to find ways to punish those who would dare to say something different from what it wants to hear. What is Rai do? She drew attention to the fact that they are not even paying them what should be sufficient to transport paupers from one point to the other. If they are paying their father's right, would they pay the children those kind of allowances when the system itself knows by its own calculation that these monies are not enough? This girl drew attention to this, and what has the system done? Coalesce to ensure that no other pauper will dare to do something like that in future. That is what has happened. And they will find all manners of excuses to justify what has been done.
You know, Mr. Farotimi,
it is all about ensuring.
My sincere apologies for butting in. My sincere apologies. Each time I hear you speak, one thing that I see, I hear, you're talking about the system. And it's not today. I was an active broadcast journalist in the 90s, following the botched Third Republic. I saw what civil society organizations did. I saw the time when Nigerians left home and they weren't sure whether or not they were going to come back that particular day. And it happened for 6 years or so, between 1993 and 1999, when we returned to the Fourth Republic. But there is a question that I've been asking on this program every opportunity I have, and that's the Nigerian vision. Some people believe that Nigeria's vision is embedded in our national anthem or in our national pledge. So first of all, do you agree with them? Or do you think there is a need for us to sit around the table and agree what the Nigerian vision is? That every politician, irrespective of political party or political leaning, irrespective of 1 term or 5 years or 2 terms or 4 years, must align with. Do you think it is time for us to get there, or you think things are going to continue without this rudder that we need to abide by?
Thank you very much. You know, this is probably like the 3rd or 4th time that we'll be speaking, myself and you. And the one thing you would concede is that I have never failed to speak to the system governing this country. The reality is that we don't have any national vision. I think it's in Habakkuk, I think chapter 2, verse 1 and 2 or something like that. Those of you who are Christians, like you understand it, but it says that a vision is for an appointed time. Though it tarries, wait for it. It says write it down, make it plain, that those who read it may run with it. In typical nation building, you reduce your national vision to the anthem and then the pledges. A man came into office and he demonstrated his capacity to get the National Assembly to do whatever he cares, and it was done within 72 hours, I believe. He changed the national anthem back to the old national anthem. That shows you what is possible when a man is determined to achieve. So if Bola Ahmed Tinubu had wanted to achieve an overarching vision, he could have gone to the same National Assembly and gotten them to fall behind it. Obasanjo could have pretty much done the same thing until he went off on his third tangent. The key thing I'm explaining is this. When you have a vision, it constrains your spending. If you are building a house, you will rather buy a bag of cement than a bottle of brandy, because your priorities will change. We're a country that has zero vision. That is why perversion has crept in. Our ruiners have no big ideas behind which to harness the capacities, immense capacities of Nigerians. We will conceive roads. It would already be outdated before they move to site. It's not in terms of the budget, it's in terms of the stealing that attended the planning. So instead of building something that would belong in the new age, at least based on the kind of budget, you build something that doesn't even fit the day. That is a function of the absence of vision. You're building a railway. The railway to Ibadan will take me over 2 hours or thereabout to get to Ibadan. If I enter the train, no, they're almost 3 hours to get to Ibadan. That's probably the distance from London to Reading, which will take less than 30 minutes. But we built it at great cost. This country is in debt today. The person principally responsible for building that is crowing that he will end corruption in Nigeria if he becomes president. So, my brother, we have no national vision. That is why perversion has taken over our land. The word provision comes from provision for vision. We have no vision. It's perversion governing Nigeria, perversion of the worst order.
It's diversity. We have to have a replay, or what they call a second half of this conversation, because a number of issues you raised, for instance, you talked about the state governments. It would seem to me like every time we are raising issues about the federal government of Nigeria. We don't seem to be giving
the entire
attention to the states.
No, it's not. No, it's the entire
I'm pretty sure that we'll come to it some other time. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Mr. Farotimi. Mr. Dele Farotimi is a legal practitioner and political activist. We thank you so much for your time.
The truth is that Nigeria politics have failed its people. That's why people don't believe that a Nigerian politician can be honest and be truthful. But Obi has a track record that we can hold on. When he was the governor of Anambra State, he had a track record of honesty, a track record of integrity, and a track record of accountability. These are the things we need to see in a person, to know that we can trust this person. You don't need to go far. The evidences are there. P2B have given us the evidences. This is what I will do in the so time. And Obi have emphasized more on the issue that you don't need a longer term to be in office. You don't need that long time to be in office. This is what P2B have been hammering on. You don't need that longevity to be in office to make an impact. You don't need it at all. He even said that the longer you stay in the system will corrupt you. That you will need just few years to have an impact. Take a look at Alex Otti in Abia State. Just 2 years in office, this man have had more impact than even the former governor. Buhari State 8 good years. Where is the impact? So you see, it's not about longevity. It's about what do you plan on doing in that few time that was given to you. What is your plan? What is your intention to those you are leading? What is your intention on growth? What do you plan on doing? That's what people should be emphasizing on, not just about P2B cannot do one thing, he's lying, he's this spirit, this one. Because people have come out to call him all sorts of names. People like Governor Soludo have come out and said that Obi have mental issue. That anybody in Nigeria politics that would tell that he wants to run one term is having a mental issue. What Soludo said. Other people have gone ahead to say that P2B is desperate. That's why he wants to use a one term to deceive us. All manner of things have been said about this man, P2B. What has P2B done wrong to Nigerians? What has P2B done wrong to Nigerians? This is a powerful question that we need to answer. What has Obi done wrong to some leaders in Nigeria? Obi is APC's greatest enemy, greatest threat today, tomorrow. Obi is APC's greatest enemy, greatest opposition, and greatest threat. That's why they will keep on sending allies to keep on attacking Obi online. Anything Obi says, they will attack him. I don't know if Dr. Abbott in our News is now working for APC, because this man have come out to also say that Obi is desperate to say that he wants to run one term. Obi just said he wants to run one term. Obi is not the only person that have actually run one term and have an impact. Obi in Anambra State had an impact in 8 years. So what is stopping him from having impact in Nigeria for 4 years? But let me get your views and thoughts in the comment section of the guys in my next video.